Well, you are here because you're curious about this celestial bonfire. We have a new energy window, and this one is number 16. It's going to be not quite the last of 2024, but it's certainly going to be the biggest energy window. We have 49 days for this window to manifest, and we've got some big, powerful energies, namely 3 Grand Trines, Grand Fire Trines, 3 of those. Mars opposed Pluto, which goes the entire time. It runs every single day of 49 days. How does it do that without going retrograde? Well, it covers that. Mars is going to go retrograde. We also have Mercury going retrograde. And then Pluto re-enters Aquarius. So let's get going on this. This window 16 runs from November 3rd to December 21st, 2024. It's called the Celestial Bonfire and the Cosmic Awakening. I like to put this eclipse cycle here so you can see the area that we're going to be talking about. It's in the shaded area. So it does cover 2 full moons and 1 new moon. And that new moon is Sagittarius. That just adds to this fire energy, fire backdrop, the fire grand trines, and the Great Awakening. All right, here's the overview. What I recommend here is take a screenshot of this, so you can reference it later as you go. It's all got the times here. This is the timeline. And just as an overview of this window, there's a profound personal growth and transformation that's coming through this sequence here of all the things we mentioned. Enhanced creativity and innovation. We'll have breakthroughs in consciousness and new perspectives, a renewed sense of purpose and direction. But at the same time, there's going to be some intense emotional upheaval, probably some instability, especially as Pluto transits and with all its alignments related to Uranus and the Grand Fire Trine. We're going to have a lot of, anytime you've got big change, you're going to have homeostasis kicking in, which is the resistance to the change. And so that's going to look like something as well. So let's get started with November 3rd. There's a lot happening on November 3rd. This energy window really does start with a big bang, literal bang. So listen to all these things. First of all, you have a mutable fire backdrop. All these things are happening on the 3rd of November. You have the first of 3 Grand Fire Trines that's starting. This one is the Luminous Torch Bearer, destined to pioneer, lead, and champion a heroic quest for truth and freedom. That first Grand Fire Trine is going to last from November 3rd to November 11th. Then we have Mars opposed Pluto. That goes exact on November 3rd. This is the Shadow Warrior's initiation. And by the way, this Mars opposed Pluto goes it runs the entire window. And Mars will go retrograde. It goes back into Leo at 10:09 p.m. And then it's going to retrograde and return to Cancer, but that's going to be outside of our energy window. We'll get into that later. Then on November 3rd, Venus opposed Jupiter goes exact. That's the cosmic lover's dilemma. So there's going to be some conflict in harmony, peace, relationship that is also going to add to this tension, but also the initiation, hero's journey, and the awakening. All right, so here's the chart for November 3rd. All those things that I mentioned. However, there does appear to be a grand trine, but this is not, unfortunately, the lines going to the North Node are not indicated, and the North Node is part of this Grand Fire Trine. So you have the North Node in Aries at 6 degrees Aries. Then you've got Mars at this time that has just entered Leo. That's on the 3rd of November at 10:09 p.m. and that will make the other point. And then the last point is going to be Mercury at 1 degree of Sagittarius. So it's clearly a very tight and tightening Grand Fire Trine, even though it's not represented properly on this chart. So let's start with the Mercury Trine North Node. So right here, going up to the North Node, we have the courageous adventurer, the quest for new frontiers of knowledge and experience, and it's very future bound. Then we have Mars Trine North Node. This leg is the radiant champion, showing up visibly, taking bold action, radiating creative self-expression. There's kind of a heroism or a heroic impulse, which is going to be strong during this period, along with the charisma to inspire others. Then you have Mars and Mercury Trine, and that one is the inspirational intellectual. The trine empowers the voice to speak truth with very dramatic flair and charged communications with infectious optimism. So there's like this, when you put the whole Grand Fire Trine together, you get the Luminous Torch Bearer. So it's the intrepid adventurer scaling a peak, torch held high, casting light for themselves and those who follow. This Grand Fire Trine is a beacon. It illuminates courage, inspired action, and radiant knowledge that sets the world ablaze with possibilities. There we go. The cosmic bonfire has started. But remember, though, the Grand Fire Trine is only one of the many things that's happening here. We have a T-square on Saturn. We have some oppositions. And when you put all this together, you get the Phoenix Shaman's heroic resurrection, who fearlessly descends into the underworld, that's Scorpio, Sun in Scorpio, for a deep transformative journey of death and rebirth through the fires of personal and collective crisis. That's Mars opposed Pluto. That's a big central theme every single day of this energy window. And then we have the Phoenix Shaman alchemizes shadow into light, destruction into regeneration from this axis. This is a heroic quest. That's the Sagittarius Aries, seeking ultimate truth, championing a noble cause, and forging a trailblazing path to individual and collective liberation, and inspires humanity to resurrect itself. Oh, and that's just November 3rd. So then I went looking at all of the charts before the next one. The next one is the full moon in Taurus. That's on 15 November, but there's a lot happening in there that I don't want to keep going all over these charts. So just the early days of November, it's the Phoenix rising from the ashes of illusion. That little last piece is very important. We're coming out of illusion. The Phoenix undergoes a radical awakening. Sun oppose Uranus. That shakes it loose from the illusions and limiting beliefs of its past. It then faces an intense power struggle. It's the Mars opposite Pluto. Anytime you have those in alignment, particularly with squares and oppositions, you've got power struggles as it confronts the shadow aspect of its psyche and the ways it has given away its power. This leads to a crisis of faith and delusionment. We also have Venus square Neptune as old certainties and ideals dissolve. Old certainties and ideals dissolving is a perfect match to the Pluto ingress into Aquarius, which we'll talk about later. On 11 November, the Grand Fire Trine we just discussed goes away. It ends, and that's due to Mercury getting too far, progressing too far. But before Mercury leaves Sagittarius, he's going to go into retrograde and then capture the Grand Fire Trine number 3. But on 15 November, this one, we have a full moon in Taurus. It's not just a full moon, as you can see. It's almost perfectly aligned with Uranus, just a degree out. So very tight with Uranus and a pretty tight trine with a 5-degree orbit to Pluto. So lots of change and transformation. And then when you include all those big alignments, the Mars-Pluto opposition, the Uranus conjunct with the full moon, and then the trine to the Pluto, you get the visionary alchemist grounded awakening. There's no way to avoid it, folks. An earth-shaking epiphany that revolutionizes collective consciousness. Insights flash like lightning, illuminating new pathways forward. This awakening is grounded and stabilized through the flowing aspects of Neptune and Pluto, which provide spiritual wisdom, emotional resilience, and the pragmatic skills to restructure reality. At the core of this journey is the drive to awaken humanity to its highest potential. The full moon gift is the ability to midwife the birth of a new paradigm through the alchemical union of heaven and earth. So now we're at the middle of November. So the energy of mid-November, particularly from after the full moon for the following week, is the shaman warrior's illuminated path. The Scorpio sun's trine to Neptune initiates a profound dive into the mystic depths of the psyche, dissolving illusions and revealing hidden spiritual truths. Simultaneously, the Scorpio sun's opposition to Uranus in Taurus brings shock waves of awakening, shattering old paradigms and catalyzing a radical rebirth. This journey is one of heroic self-transformation in service to the collective awakening, which now goes into hyperdrive on November 19th, which is Pluto re-entering Aquarius. I've got the chart here, but basically we're just going to show you Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. But I'd rather show you some of these stats from Pluto going into Aquarius. It's going to stay there until March of 2043. And during that time, we have massive collective overhaul, transformation, revolutionary rebirth. It accelerates the evolution of consciousness and social progress, breaks down outdated structures and beliefs. It may bring upheaval, chaos, and disruption as the old systems die. And anytime you've got massive change, you also have resistance to the change. So you're going to have that as well. Encourages the power of the collective to create change. Here's the image for that. Basically what we're looking at, if I can, well, I'll just drag it up. It won't let me. So as you're looking at this person observing the destruction of the old, this energy, Pluto going into Aquarius and spending all that time in Aquarius until 2043, the energy represents the powerful forces of change and evolution that are being activated on a global level. Pluto in Aquarius accelerates the process of social and cultural evolution, pushing humanity towards a new paradigm. All right, and then if we proceed into 21 November, this is when the sun goes into Sagittarius. So we have this right here. And this is going to begin another Grand Fire Trine. But this time it's going to be Sun instead of Mercury. It's going to be Sun at 0 degrees of Sag, Mars at 4 degrees of Leo, and the North Node at 3 degrees of Aries. And that Grand Trine is not apparent, not quite yet. I mean, it is there. It's just not going to show up on this diagram. So this is the inspired hero. This is a powerful ignition of passion, courage, and purpose. Like a mythic hero setting out on an epic quest, The inspired hero fearlessly pursues their vision, radiating enthusiasm and creative self-expression while pioneering new pathways for personal and collective evolution. And along those lines, remember that when you have massive transformation, you're going to have these perceptions of crisis. And when you have perceptions of particularly mass crisis, you're going to have the emergence of heroes. And I want to make sure that I foot stomp this and make sure that you don't just automatically see a hero at face value and go along with it. A lot of times they are wolves in sheep's clothing. So you got to really pay attention to their message and follow your intuition. Don't automatically, but equally don't automatically reject, like demonize any hero that wants to come up. Ultimately, it's about being your own hero. And but otherwise, make sure you do your due diligence whether or not the hero serves your purpose. Then we get into the late November time period from November 21st to December 1st. This is the Quantum Leaper. The Quantum Leaper moves between different states of consciousness, gathering wisdom and catalyzing change. It's going to be hard not to be in all these different states of consciousness with all of the awakening happening. This archetype embodies the audacity to take bold leaps of faith, trusting in the journey of growth and transformation. And meanwhile, I can show you the chart, but what we're looking at is, even though Grand Fire Trine number 3 hasn't started yet, it's being set up because on 25 November in this period, at real close to Thanksgiving, Mercury is going to go station in retrograde at 22 degrees Sagittarius. It needs to retreat about 12 degrees in order to get into the orb to start Grand Fire Trine number 3, and it will so on 8 December. And also, as a side note, on 5 December, Mars is going to go station in retrograde at 6 degrees Leo, and it's going to stay in trine with the fire trines. So you can see the key players to all 3 of our Grand Fire Trines is going to be Mars in the North Node. That other point is going to switch between, it's going to start with Mercury. The second Grand Fire Trine is going to be with the Sun. Then the third is going to be Mercury again, going retrograde. Here's our new moon on the 1st of December. It's a new moon in Sagittarius, and it hosts the Grand Fire Trine 2's conclusion. And that's due to the Sun getting out of orb with the North Node. You can see North Node at 3 degrees and Mars at 5 degrees. Still within orb of that. But let's look at the new moon, and we have some other players here. You can see a lot of squares over to Saturn. So basically a T-square on Saturn. You have an opposition to Jupiter. We also have the new moon with a trine over to Mars. This is one leg of our Grand Fire Trine. And it's when you put all that together, and I forgot about Venus and Pluto in a conjunction trine over to Uranus. So lots of change for relationships. The shamanic, visionary, reformers, initiatory odyssey. It's basically a death, rebirth, awakening. We embark on an initiatory odyssey of growth, empowerment, and world-changing transformation. The Sagittarius new moon thrusts the collective into a quest of mythic proportions. They must confront daunting challenges, grapple with crisis of faith and meaning, and cultivate the spiritual discernment to navigate through a lot of uncertainty. As one matures in this journey, the conjunction of Venus and Pluto, right here, trined by Uranus and Taurus, empowers them to become a revolutionary force for radical change and collective awakening. They are able to harness the power of regeneration and metamorphosis to transform outdated systems and structures into new, liberating forms. So initiatory odyssey is a bridge between worlds. Having faced the darkness and claimed their light, they now have the medicine to heal and uplift humanity with revolutionary love in service to the birth of a golden age. Grand Fire Trine number 2 ends on December 2nd. And then we have the early days of December. That archetype of those few days up until 8 December is going to be the visionary, philosopher, reformer. Will be a period of intense astrological alchemy that radically transform identity, relationships, and worldviews, confronting shadow aspects, transmuting toxic patterns, and evolving beyond egoic attachments. Whew. That's a lot. A lot of us resist change because of these egoic attachments. So something is causing, some events are going to match this by detaching us from those ego attachments, probably helping us to be able to transform the way the universe is going. The collective undergoes a rebirth of authentic, empowered selfhood in service of its own liberation. Liberation with Pluto and Aquarius. Expect more of a holographic consciousness that weaves multiple dimensions of insight into a singular awakening. And folks, here is the third Grand Fire Trine on 8 December. Begins with Mercury and Mars both in retrograde. And actually all 3 points are in retrograde. That includes the North Node in retrograde. We have Mars in retrograde, and we have Mercury in retrograde. And the reason why I chose to start with the chart on 9 November and not 8 November is because the moon will transit over the North Node on the 9th, and therefore we get finally a representation of the Grand Fire Trine because the moon is on the North Node. So now we have to be able to visually see this. It's pretty cool. It's Grand Fire Trine number 3 that you can see here on the 9th is the Intrepid Seeker. And it's on a quest to discover deeper truth and meaning, fueled by an ardent desire for growth and adventure. This archetype fearlessly ventures into uncharted territories of mind and spirit. The path forward shimmers with the promise of transformation, especially as they digest and assimilate past insights. And then we get into the full moon on 15 November. That's the full moon in Gemini. That's right here, and it's the Quantum Storyteller. Technically in an orb with Jupiter retrograde, this multidimensional energy weaves tales that bridge the realms of imagination and reality, self and other, power and love. With the fluidity of a quantum wave, the Quantum Storyteller explores multiple possibilities and perspectives, unraveling old narratives and co-creating new myths for a transforming world. Every one of these delineations is about transformation. It's about seeing things in a new light and change. And here we have our last chart, which is on the winter solstice. And this happens at 3:20 a.m. on the 21st of December. Winter solstice is where the sun gets at the lowest point, and the daylight is at the shortest point, at least in the northern hemisphere. This Grand Cross is defined by 2 main oppositions. There's actually 3 oppositions, and then one of those points is our mainstay, or the Mars-Pluto opposition that has been here the entire 49 days. But the other 2 are temporary. One of them is the moon, fast acting. So this is only going to be like a day or 2 long, this Grand Cross. But it's the cosmic initiation. And in this chapter of the hero's journey, which has been this entire window, The protagonists find themselves at a crossroads, facing the challenges and opportunities presented by the powerful cosmic energies at play. The Grand Cross serves as the central testing ground where the different aspects of self are called to integrate and transform. The Sun's entry into Capricorn and its square to the North Node represents the call to align with one's true path and purpose, while the subtle influences of Pluto and harmonious energy of Venus and Jupiter offer guidance and support along the way. This is a time of deep inner work and initiation into a new level of personal growth and evolution. You might feel on the 21st, thereabouts, might feel a profound personal transformation and growth and alignment into one's true path and purpose. But look for intense internal pressure and conflict and challenges in navigating and competing energies and demands. The Grand Fire Trine number 3 technically ends on the 22nd of December, and that happens because Mercury gets out of orb with the North Node right here. So here are the stats. The total number of days is 49. The number of days with a Grand Fire Trine, and every one of those three is the North Node and Mars. The first one is the Luminous Torch Bearer. 35 days with the Grand Fire Trine energy, 35 out of the 49. The number of days with Mars opposed Pluto is all 49, which we have covered already, and that is the Shadow Warriors initiation. Here's the picture for Mars opposed Pluto. It's the Shadow Warriors initiation. During this window, here are benefits and opportunities. Benefit by having profound personal growth and transformation, increased resilience and adaptability, probably some enhanced creativity and innovation, breakthroughs in consciousness and perspective making, renewed sense of purpose and direction. But be on the lookout for these pitfalls: intense emotional upheaval and instability, unpredictability. Anytime you have that, you have lots of free wills that are reacting and probably escaping the discomforts associated with the change. So they're going to be the behaviors that you're going to notice are unpredictable. You might find it difficult to let go of the past or resistant to change and transformation. All of us are going to have some level of resistance. Impulsive or reckless behavior, burnout from excessive energy output. Ultimately, it's this picture. It's the celestial bonfire that I'm really looking forward to, and hopefully the cosmic and global Great Awakening right here in this window from November 3rd, 2024 to Winter Solstice 2024. 49 days of transformation. Are you all ready? Well, tune into the weekly surf reports so that you can get the latest suggestions about what behaviors to instill and how to navigate these energies even better. But for now, at least you know what to be looking for between November 3rd and December 21st. Celestial Bonfire and a Cosmic Awakening. There you have it, folks. Thanks for showing up. Thank you for your support of the channel, and I'm looking forward to providing you more as we go along. Take care. Have a great day.